Hey everyone, welcome back. As you know, I just got done wiring my layout, well, most of it, but in my video I mentioned that I decided to install a NCE Smart Booster for my power cab, and I really didn't go over too much information on that, and I had a number of requests from you guys about doing a little bit more of an in-depth review of how I did it and why I did it. So that's what this video is going to be about. Now, before we get started, of course, let's look at this. You know, you have your power cab and your regular PCP panel that you have mounted to your layout, the power supply for your power cab, and of course, you have both your coil wire and the flat cable wire that came with your power cab. Now, you're not using this for your power cab. With only using the power cab, you don't need this. You would use that for, you could use that for your USB panel and connection for JMRI and your computer. But as you know, when you're using your power cab, these are your main components: the flat cable, your power cab, the PCP panel, and your power supply. Now, when we switch to the Smart Booster, you won't use this to connect your power cab anymore. And you won't use this panel, and you will not use this power supply. So put them aside for now, because I'll explain later in the video why you might need them later. But you will end up connecting your power cab to the other panels then that we install for the Smart Booster with this coil cable. Now, reason being for that, basically, when you have just your power cab set up, the command station and your cab and throttle, it's all in one. And this flat cable has 6 wires in it. And that's for that reason right there. Whenever we use the Smart Booster, you're basically taking the command station part of it out of the power cab, and then your Smart Booster will be the command station. And in essence, your power cab just becomes a Pro Cab. And this coil wire only has 4 wires in it, because we don't need to carry the signal for the command station part of this anymore. So you don't need this for the Smart Booster setup. So we'll throw that aside. Alright, now let's move on to the Smart Booster. And one of the questions I had is, why did I buy the Smart Booster? Well, there's 3 reasons why you want to do this. One would be, you obviously have 5 amps of power then to run a lot more locomotives, if you have lighted car interiors, etc. I wasn't to the point where I needed extra power yet. Right now it's just me operating, but if you have a larger operating session on your layout where you're going to be running more than 3 or 5 locomotives, of course you're going to want more power. And that's one reason. That wasn't the main reason why I did it, but it'll come in handy down the road. The next reason would be, with this, with your power cab, if you unplug your power cab from your panel, it kills power to your track. With this, you can, since this is in essence a command station, you can unplug your power cab from a UTP panel, and whatever's going on in your layout continues to go on. It doesn't kill track power. And you can unplug from one panel and move to another panel on your layout and pick up right where you left off without any interruption on your track. And that's mainly why I did it, because with this larger layout, I can't reach it all from one panel. So I'm going to have, of course, multiple panels around there for not only my use, but for any other operators that may decide to come over and join in. That was the reason why I did it. But anyways, and some of the things to note with this, of course, you got 5 amps of power. It'll support up to 6 cabs, and like I said, you can unplug from one cab and one panel and move to another UTP panel, and it does not kill your track power. So those are some really good features. And if you need more than 5 amps of power, you can daisy chain a bunch of dumb boosters, the DB5s, to this. But I'm not getting into that. If you want more information on that, that's something you're going to have to look up on your own, because I'm not doing it, at least not anytime soon. and so I'm not getting into that part of it. But there's plenty of information out there, and all of a sudden, or also you have your instruction manual that comes with it, and I will post a link down in the description for a PDF file of this if you'd like to read over it before you would happen to maybe purchase one of these. So with that being said, let's move on to the next step. All right, now we have our Smart Booster here. It does come with the power supply. I have the power supply underneath my layout already down there. I'm not pulling that out to show you, but basically, you know, it's a power supply. You know, you got one end that plugs into the wall and the other end that plugs into this. That's pretty self-explanatory. But as you can see here, you have the plug for your track power, just like you had for the back of the PCP panel for your power cab. So of course you just run your track wiring out of this, and you can run that straight to your layout or your bus line. Hopefully, if you're in the market where you're using a booster, then obviously you should have a bus line for your layout. It should be big enough that you need a bus line. So basically, your bus line comes right out of this. I will show you how I connected mine here in a little bit, but that's that part of it right there. Then we have two areas where you can plug in your throttles or run RJ12 cable out to multiple UTP panels. We'll get into that too. And this control bus plug right here, that's for adding extra dumb boosters, DB5s, if you want to add extra power. That would be used for that purpose there. And like I said, you got two cab inputs. You can plug your power cab right into one of these, or like I said, you can run some RJ12 cables out to UTP panels that are laid out around your layout. So let's move on. All right, now I mentioned about UTP panels. That's what you're going to use in place of the PCP panel that you had with your power cab. Here I have one that I have not installed yet. Here's one that I do have installed. So basically, they come in this pack, and let me open it up and we'll take a little closer look at it. All right, now we have it out of the wrapper. Now it comes like this, and you have your fascia plate and some instructions that you would like, you should probably read over. It does not come with an LED power light on it. If you want to add one, there's instructions on how to add one along with a resistor, if that's something you so desire. But you see these screws in the front, you would remove them and screw your panel on here. And I personally I mount it like this. This would be the top, that would be the bottom, and the bottom would have the hole for the LED if you so desire. And of course the ones with the screws will be the front, for out in front of your fascia, and this would be the rear. And on the rear you'll see one of the plugs says command station. That's where you would run one of your RJ12 cables, like this here. Unplug one. I have RJ12 cable right here, 6 wire. I believe you could use the flat cable that came with your power cab for this, but you basically run out of one of these, doesn't matter, on the front of your one of the cab buses on the front of your Smart Booster. Run one end of your RJ12 cable out of that, and then plug it into the back where the one that says command station. That would be in from your command station. And then if you wanted to hook up another one of these panels further down your layout, you'd run another RJ12 cable out of the back of the other plug over to the next UTP panel, and you're going to plug it in to the one that says command station. And then you can continue that, so on and so on and so on, for however many UTP panels you want to install. Now, each UTP panel has 2 ports, so you can plug 2 different throttles in each port, which is great. And like I said, you would use the coiled wire, which only has 4 wires inside it, and that's how you would connect your power cab, which now would be in essence a pro cab, into either one of these ports, and it will fire up, and you'll be able to go through whatever processes you normally would with your power cab. Now, the drawback. The Smart Booster does not have a dedicated program track built into it. You can only program on the main. So if you need to do any type of programming with the programming track, which more than likely you will have to do with the with any type of sound decoder, that is why I said keep your PCP panel and your power supply that came with your power cab. And what you should do, and what I do, or am going to do, I actually do it, I have it upstairs. I have a program track upstairs, but you would want to use this and hook it up to a dedicated program track. And that way, if you need to do any type of programming on your program track, you would take your power cab over to that and plug it in just like you normally would when you had just the power cab. And again, don't use the coil wire for that. You want to use the flat wire. But that's just for a separate programming track. That's the only way you can get to the program track option in this power cab if you have the Smart Booster. You can, the option's not there when you just use it with the booster. So definitely keep that supplies, or keep those things and use them for a programming track. Sorry, I'm talking fast here. All right, now show you a little bit how I hook this up. It's very simple. I mean, it's just as simple as hooking up a power cab, and you obviously have already done that. So let me show you how I have mine wired up, and we're pretty much almost done with this. I hope I covered everything that you might have needed to know. If not, shoot me a message. I will try to explain it a little bit more. But I will show you my setup. It's not finalized by any means, so you see wires hanging down or whatever. As you know, I'm still in the process of wiring my layout. So please, just bear with me on that. Hold on a second. Alright, now here is my Smart Booster. I have it on a shelf underneath my layout. And how I wired this up, as you see, I have my bus line right here. And I had it going all the way around, straight across, and just continued over to the end of my layout. Now, in order to hook my track power up in the middle of my bus line, since I'm not at the end of my layout where the end of the bus line is, I cut my bus line, put in this terminal strip with some with some jumper wires, and then I ran my track power out of the booster up in, tied it into the terminal block with my bus line. So it's as simple as that. You just connect it to your bus line. Now whenever you wire this up out of here, of course, as same with the power cab, it doesn't matter which track wire you use and which side of this. What matters is whenever you're dropping your feeders, that you keep the same rail. I mean, that goes back to wiring your track, which is not really the purpose of this video. But you know, when it comes to wiring your track, you have to keep everything consistent, which is, you know, you use different color wire to help you keep track of that. And you want to connect the same rails to the same bus line, and so on and so on. You have to do that or you will have a short. But anyways, back to wiring. This is the power supply. One end goes to your wall, the other end goes to the power, or the Smart Booster. And I will go ahead and plug it in now on this side, and I unplugged it there. Yeah. All right. There we go. We have juice, and your power supply also has a light on it. Now this RJ12 cable here, it doesn't matter which one of these two you plug it in, but this goes to one of my UTP panels. Now, another thing, when you buy RJ12 cable, make sure you have, or it's designed for this purpose, because it has to do with the way the plugs are on either end of it. If you make your own your own RJ12 cables, you have to put the plugs on either end in the correct way. And I'll try to demonstrate that. Alright guys, here I have the RJ12 cable that comes with the power cab, and I'll try to demonstrate what I was talking about. If you line up these both ends of the wire like that with the plugs the same way, as you will see, the colors match up: blue, yellow, green, red, black, and white. They are absolutely identical on both ends of the plug. That is a must. That's what I was talking about. Sorry for shaking. I'm trying to show you that. But that's what I was talking about. If you make your own RJ12 cables, make sure you have that correct. Alright, now we're back to this RJ12 cable that I have running out of the booster. As you can see, I do not have it secured up under the layout yet. But it just runs over, and here's one of my UTP panels. Give you a good look at how I have it. And if you look on it, you can't see it in the video, but this one over here is the one that says command station. So that's the wire coming from the Smart Booster. You plug it into that port. Now, that's fine. If you don't want to add any more UTP panels, you don't have to. We can end it right there. Now, if you want to add more of these around your layout, like I did, I have a couple more over there, one over there. I have one back there right now. I will add a lot more. All you do is daisy chain these together. You get another RJ12 cable right here, and you plug it into this port, and you will run that all the way over to wherever you have another UTP panel mounted, and you will plug it into the port that says command station. And then if you want to connect another one out of that, you do the same thing. Run one off the other side into another UTP panel and plug it into the one that says command station, and so on and so on. Simple as that. Alright, and also something I thought about. A lot of people like to hook their computer, their smartphones, their tablets, and JMRI and everything up to their layout. With NCE, of course, you need the NCE USB adapter. And I haven't done it yet, so I suggest that you do some more research on that just to be sure. I have hooked it up with just my power cab. I haven't hooked it up yet with the Smart Booster. I will, but it's my understanding that you would just come out of this other port into the USB adapter, basically just like you would with the power cab, and it basically would be set up you know, pretty much the exact same way. I haven't done that yet, so don't take me at my word 100% on that. Please do a little extra research on that first, because I don't want to be held responsible if something goes wrong. I didn't tell you to do it that way. I think that's how it's done. I will research it too before I hook mine up. Okay, now for a slight demonstration. As you saw, we plugged in the Smart Booster. The power was on, all the lights were lit up. As you see, I don't have my power cab even plugged into a panel yet, not on. But with the Smart Booster on, we already have track power. The track power is on. So when I put this on here, you can hear the startup sequence of this locomotive, which proves to you that we have track power already. Which gets to my point. This no longer is the command station part of a power cab. This is now more or less a pro cab. And use your coiled cable. Now, move this down here. There's one of my panels. I'm going to plug it in. Doesn't matter which port. And there comes my My throttle turns on. Looks like Loco 8095 is already selected. This is the last one I ran. Test that out. And like I said, when I unplug it, look at that. Like, whatever's going on in the layout keeps happening. You no longer lose track power when you unplug your power cab. One thing I did want to point out to you while I have this as a demonstration, like I told you, that the Smart Booster does not have a programming track option. So whenever we're plugged into it like that, of course down here is your program button, but I'll take you through the options and you'll see there's program on the main, and usually right around in here you'll see use programming track or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is. But as you can see, as we move through the list of options, it is non-existent. Now, like I said, use your original panel and power supply that came with this plugged up to a dedicated program track, and use your flat cable when you go to that panel, plug it in, and you will have the option for programming on the programming track. And you will more than likely have to do that unless you're just changing your locomotive address, which you can do that on programming on the main. But some CV changes will not take effect unless you program on the programming track with this. So you'll most likely have to have a program track whether you want to or not. We'll plug that back in. Let's switch this to the reverse so I can get it in the camera. Adjust this a little bit. There we go. We'll start moving that. Now, as a demonstration, go and unplug this again. Look at that. We're dead. But because the command station is now in the Smart Booster, everything continues on the layout. Now, what I can do is I can move to another panel on the layout and continue operations over there. As soon as you plug it in, I'll plug this back in. It's still moving. Yeah. Hard to do one-handed. Sorry for all the jerking around here. Alright, I'm plugged back in. And you just pick up right where you left off. See, I'm on speed step 7. That's where we left off when we unplugged it. So I can move around to a different panel on the layout and just continue my operation, which is the main reason why I bought the booster. I wasn't to the point where I needed more power. I was to the point where I needed the ability to move around the layout. But that's it. I hope I explained that well enough for everybody that was curious of how that worked. And like I said, it definitely, I mean, if you still have questions, shoot me an email or a message or whatever. I will try to do my best to answer them. And it doesn't hurt to do a little bit more research too if you have some more questions. By all means, I don't want to be held responsible for anything that may have gone in a bad direction for you. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of information. And like I said, this is the first I've actually messed with the booster the last couple of days. So I'm relatively new to that part of it myself. But that's it, guys. I hope I helped out a little bit. And thank you for your continued support. And thank you for watching and commenting the videos. I really, really do appreciate it. And if you like what you see and you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to me. Alright, guys. I will talk to you later.